This is a video on Jordan Peterson and particularly how Jordan Peterson's work relates to the body. So my name is Mark Walsh. I'm a psychologist who works with the body. Embodied psychology is my area. I teach this all over the world. I've been interested in Mr. Peterson's idea for a fair few years actually now. It's interesting, it suddenly became popular and got controversial and there's ups and downs to it. And there's a lot you could say. Mostly I would say I'm someone who's appreciated him but had some concerns. For example, the tone of his voice often, there's a tightness there that as an embodied trainer worries me. But generally I found his stuff personally helpful and very insightful. I like a lot of his stuff. So I'll say that up front just by way of transparency. As someone who works with the body, I'm sometimes going, okay, there's a few things I could add there or say there that might be interesting to people. So here's a couple from his 12 rules to life. I've got a volunteer helper for this who happens to be my wife. So Daria, would you mind stepping up? So one of his rules is stand up straight with your shoulders back. Now this is kind of well meaningful. I guess it's coming from this research on things like power poses that if we take up space, it reduces cortisol, increases testosterone levels. The sort of Amy Cuddy research, which has been slightly criticized, wasn't able to be replicated in some ways, but there's still some of it that stands and some good stuff there. You know, his stuff around lobsters and extensor muscles and all the rest of it. However, people are going to really misunderstand this. As someone who works with yoga and martial arts and posture, so if I said to you, stand up straight with your shoulders back, Daria, who, by the way, hasn't been primed in any way for this video, I literally just grabbed it down her way to work, how would you stand? Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Right. So Daria, who's done some somatic work, is actually already standing slightly off balance. So we don't have to believe that, we can test it. So you'll see she tips backwards quite easily and forwards not so easily. I'm doing a kind of two-finger test here, yeah? Most people would do it even more than her because Daria has a background in dance and done some yoga and things. She's probably doing it less than others. So do it as if you were sort of like Ukrainian soldier type style. If you were told, stand up straight, put your shoulders back.
At school.
Like they said at school, right. So this is something that people are told to do quite often. Right, and girls might be like pushing their boobs out as well, but there's also this thing like, you know, be a man, stand up straight, shoulders back. And we'll see in this instance that it's actually very off balance. So you can, like, even with just one finger, and there's a very easy to push her off balance. So now we do something slightly different. Relax the chest, come up from the back of your head, feel your feet, bend your knees just slightly. So you're here like kind of Paul Linden style. A lot of this is from Paul Linden, one of my main teachers. Yeah, say ah. It's all right if I move your hair a minute.
Yeah.
Push here, okay? Now I can push quite hard and she's much more stable. Yeah, relax your belly, relax your jaw. Say ah. Okay, and she's not off balance. I should be able to do that from behind as well. Knees aren't locked. Resting into the hip socket. Because she's got a bit of somatic work, I can teach her a lot quicker than most people. But now there's a solidity to this that's much more than do stand up straight, shoulders back, like you were taught at school. Could probably push her over one finger. It's not so easy. Notice her emotional state changes as well. So this is more of a kind of fight-flight response for many people, like a shock response, as opposed to this, which is more genuinely relaxed. The expansiveness piece is big here. So Daria tends to be quite introverted as a person. Would you say that's fair, honey?
Quite fair.
Quite fair. Okay, so do this. Reach out, look at either side, reach out, reach out. Okay, now take the hands down, but keep the feeling of reaching out. So that is the thing I think, Jordan, if you turn that way as you do it slightly. So this feeling of reaching out and being aware of the whole room, the floor and the ceiling, that feeling is the expansiveness. So not so much like this sort of pushing thing. And this is what I find is helpful for people in terms of like, if I'm working with like, you know, the sort of young men that might come to Peterson workshops that kind of collapsed or teenagers, that actually taking space with the attention rather than a sort of pushing overextended, which you'll see in North America a lot as well, actually culturally. The other thing he says is don't lie, or at least tell the truth, or at least don't lie. And he talks about feeling physically stronger when he does that. He's right. This is actually demonstratable, and it's also a way of tuning into what's most true for you. Have you seen the Paul Linden sort of stance thing where we push on the shoulders? Do you know the one I mean?
So, yeah.
Yeah, if you put one foot forward. So again, this is from Paul Linden, and what he found was that he's a martial artist and a therapist as well, and he found that people actually get structurally weaker when they lie, when they go into certain emotional states. Is it all right if I push your shoulders?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Daria's quite a bit smaller than me, and even though she's strong and feisty, I can just, push her over if I wanted, but I'm not trying to just force her over, I'm trying to test her posture, which at the moment is a bit wobbly. So relax your belly, relax your jaw, look straight ahead, do that expansiveness thing we just did. Say ah. Okay, so now getting stronger. Okay, now we can put her into a fear response relatively easy if she raises her eyebrows. Okay, stronger or weaker?
Weaker.
Yeah, most people experience that as weaker. I certainly did on this side. Okay, and we can put her into an aggression response by doing this with her eyebrows. Yeah, here she comes forward, so she loses balance as soon as she does that. Okay, now let's work with the Peterson one, which is truth. So say something which is true.
I like cats.
She does like cats, and she got stronger when she did that. Did you feel that?
Yes.
She really liked cats. Okay, now say something that's not true. Say like kitties are horrible or something like that.
Kitties are horrible.
What happened then? Did you get stronger or weaker?
Weaker.
Yeah, so most people will physically experience it. Looks like I'm pushing harder, but it's just that there's more effect happening. When people tell the truth, they get physically stronger in these positions. There's other ways to do it, like with extension from the arm and other things. And Jordan Peterson's not wrong when he says this. And this is quite interesting to play with in a number of ways. So there's loads more I could say about Peterson's work and the body, embodiment, physicality. But I hope this is at least fun, at least interesting. Daria, thank you so much.